It's recording
Now
on
it's,
your end. Now
now it's recording. Okay. So we'll play a variation. We'll start this part of the recording with a variation on yes and, playing yes and. We'll play it with Sarah from England. So Sarah, let's plan a picnic. And so the yes, I'll say let's go on a picnic. And you'll say yes, fully accepting that, yep, that is an awesome idea. And you'll add to it. And this time, instead of just the yes, and what I like about that idea is, and then you can add on to it. Okay? Okay, Sarah. All right, let's go on a picnic.
Yes. And yes, what I like about that idea is we get to eat outside.
Yeah.
Let's bring some friends with us.
Yes, and what I like about that idea is that's what makes everything so memorable when you have friends to share it with. Mm-hmm. And let's reach out to people that we haven't really, let's make a point to reach out to people that each of us haven't talked to in the last few months.
Yes, what I like about that is that it'd be great to catch up with people and share some news. And how about we bring some champagne as well?
Yes, and what I like about that idea is I haven't been drinking in a while, so champagne is going to be really fun and make everything fun. And let's bring lots of fruit to have with the champagne.
Yes, what I like about that idea is that it's a balanced diet. And how about we bring a stereo so we can have a dance at the same time?
Nice. Yes. Okay, I'll stop it here just so what do you guys notice is different about that compared to the one we did with Jen?
What I like about that idea is that it really validates your offer. So whatever it is that you offer, it is a full validation of that offer, and then an addition to that or a way to expand upon it. So it's not just the accepting the offer by saying yes, but actually kind of qualifying why that offer sounds good to you or why it's valuable to you. And I think that's kind of information that makes the person who gave the offer feel really good about it, and then feel good that the other person is fully bought into it and will add something to it that's of value. Yeah, you kind of loop back in. One of the other improv principles is make your partner look good. So by pausing a moment and leaning into that offer, right? Be like, oh, what's really good about that? What's really great? You know? Yeah, it definitely has it does that, yeah. Has a different energy to it. I mean, it's got like a brightness to it, or a increased positivity, like kind of exponentializes. That's a technical term. the positivity of the whole exchange, I think.
Cool. What about you, Sarah or Jen or Anne or anyone else want to share anything about that?
Well, I also like that although it was somebody else's idea, it's then from their perspective, what's good about it. So focus on the positivity, and then for the person who offered it may see another advantage as well.
I like that.
Right, because they offered it for some reason. Yeah, I certainly find when I do this in practice, in real life, when I pause and think about what's cool about that offer, like I watch my own brain in 5 seconds go from, well, that's a stupid idea, to like, oh, actually this is really cool. Like as soon as my brain gets its like tentacles on it, it's like, oh, I got a cool idea, So it actually engages this part of you give your brain this assignment, like find something cool about that. And your brain goes and does it, and it surprises me anyway.
I like that.
Does that.
I like that.
All right, let's do the main attraction. So, oh yes, now that everyone's missed the introductions aren't on the recording. So everyone, that was That's Denise clapping on the screen, who played this game with me a week ago and is going to speak to the impact for her.
By the way, Anne says it stretches and expands perspective. So thank you, Anne, for that little addition in the chat.
And a smiley face.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Jen, as lead up, so now we'll take these skills of improv and we'll try another game. So I asked you before this call to think of something you've got coming up that you'd like to land, you'd like to do it really well. So something maybe in the next week or so.
Yes.
You got something?
I do.
Okay.
Do you want to know what it is, or doesn't matter?
Yes. Give me like a headline. What is this?
Okay. Headline is that Karen and I are doing a workshop with about 60 people, and we're going to do it 4 different times, not next week, but two of them next week. So it's new material, new content, new audience.
Okay, you got a new workshop. Okay, and when is the first one?
I think Thursday or Friday of next week. Yeah.
All right, so Thursday or Friday. So let's say that I ran into you on Saturday, okay, after this workshop. Totally have not talked about this. And the reality is that you just landed this workshop. I mean, everything you wanted to happen about this workshop just like came into place. You were who you wanted to be. The people responded the way you wanted. Just like, it feels so good. You are still pumped up on it when we run into each other. All right. So I want you for just like 1 minute, 30 seconds to 1 minute, just download on me like how awesome this was and what made it awesome, and like even what maybe has happened in the last day since the workshop.
Okay.
Ready? Okay.
I'm ready.
Go.
So, oh my God, it was fantastic. So we just did this workshop. It was filled to capacity. We had 60 people there. They were all engaged. Karen and I were in a complete ebb and flow. Everything, she paused, I would talk, we'd go back and forth like we do so well. We also had 3 other people that we've never worked with be a part of it, and they knew their parts, they participated, and they kept it on a positive note. And the biggest hit was we made these adult coloring sheets for the workshop, and it's the first time we've used them in a corporate setting, and we gave out pencils and people loved it and raved about it. And from what we've heard, everybody went to go tell other people to take the next one because we're doing it 3 more times.
Great. Okay. Yay. All right. New scene. Now it's been 5 years. We haven't seen each other. We haven't talked to each other. We've just been busy off doing our things.
Okay.
The last I heard from you, you had just done this workshop and handed out coloring sheets. And what's going to happen is I'll say something like that, like, hey, Jen, wow, I haven't heard from you. It's been 5 years. And you're going to respond however you respond, and then I'm going to say, and because of that, and then you're going to say, blah, blah, blah happened. And then I'm going to say, and because of that, and then you're going to say whatever you say. And we'll just pursue that for, another minute or so. Minute and a half, see what happens. Okay?
Yep.
So it's been 5 years. I haven't seen you. So Jen, oh my God, I haven't seen you in 5 years. Like the last I heard you, it was the first time you did the coloring worksheets and you handed out that thing. Like what happened?
Well, it was amazing because it was so successful that they asked us to come back and do it 8 more times.
And because of that?
Oh, and then because of that, they said, can you turn it into an executive retreat?
And because of that?
Then they actually pitched it to a network, and we're now doing a weekly syndicated show with all of our teachings.
Oh, and because of that?
We won an Emmy.
And because of that?
We met Oprah.
And because of that?
We are fulfilled and happy and feel, we're probably fulfilled and happy anyway. And because of that, we're on a world tour and taking it city to city.
And because of that?
We're impacting lives, and people in general just seem to be happier and more connected to who they are.
And because of that?
Our life calling is complete.
Okay. Yay. Okay,
Awesome.
what did you notice? So go ahead and reflect on that. What do you notice in that?
Well, the cool thing is, so my philosophy is I love opportunity, and I know that opportunity leads to opportunity, but it's sort of the what if, like, oh, I'm sorry, the phone's ringing. What if, like, what is the next thing? And everything leads to bigger and better. And
Mhm.
the interesting thing was when I felt like I couldn't get bigger, I actually went to impact on people, which is interesting.
Mm,
So it was
yeah.
more connecting to the people part of it as opposed to the accomplishment part. I think that's
Hmm. Do you want to go past whatever that just happened? I don't
what do you
remember
mean?
where you left off. Whatever you left off.
Oh, I was making an impact in the world. I mean,
Mm,
then what else is there,
yeah,
right?
I don't know. And because of that,
Uh, that's really like, then how do you top that,
I'm
right?
sure there's
Say it again, Denise.
I was saying I'm sure that there are other things, so then it's like it's impacting the world, but how does it impact you? How has your life changed because of that? How have you,
mm,
you know,
Right.
how
right. So this, yeah.
Yes.
So part of the game with doing these sort of improv things is it's fast and it pushes you. So stuff just comes out that you didn't realize. It's like getting you that stuff that you don't have time to like rationalize and think about.
And you could hear, though, the one time I did think, because I'm
Yeah.
like, and we're happy and fulfilled. Well, wait a minute, we already are happy and fulfilled.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to wait for that to happen. And you could hear me totally go into my head
Yeah.
of analyzing the answer I gave, which doesn't surprise me that I did that. But
Mm-hmm. Right.
interesting.
Well, that's why I interrupted you. Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. How about Sarah? Do you want to try playing it, and then we could hear from Denise? Because it's only like takes 2 minutes.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Definitely.
All right, let's do it. Okay, Sarah, could you think of something that you are up to in the next week?
Yeah. So tomorrow I've got an interview to be it's pro bono coaching for they're called the Coaching Fellowship, and they help young women who are going to make an impact on the world, and it's coaches working with them. So
Okay.
I'm a bit nervous about it, but
Okay, so you have an interview.
yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. It's a little hard for me to hear your volume, but I think I got it. So you have an interview. Okay, so same setup. It's a day or something past your interview. And I see you. And it just went amazing. Everything you were hoping to happen, they responded, you responded, like everything just flowed more than what you hoped could happen. Okay. Sarah, oh my God, how was your interview?
It was brilliant. Way better than I expected. We got on fantastically well. Everything that they required, I'd done and more. Everything that I thought I wanted out of it was there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's great. What else?
And it's led to other opportunities and other introductions. So from the initial person that I spoke to has introduced me to her network.
Oh.
And I've heard about some other ways that I might be able to get some more pro bono work that will have more of an impact.
Cool. Okay. Now, new scene. It's now been 5 years. And last I heard from that interview, got introduced to some new networks. All right, ready? Okay. So, wow, Sarah. Oh my God, it's been 5 years. And last I heard, like you did that interview and that woman and the new networks. Like, what happened?
Well, because of doing that coaching, I was coaching someone who went on to develop a new vaccine to save children in the third world.
Wow, and because of that?
Because of that, she introduced me to lots of other people who were doing lots of other influential work.
Oh, and because of that?
Because of that, I was able to expand my practice into doing more pro bono coaching and introducing more coaches into more influential people.
Cool, and because of that?
Because of that, we were able to tap into the corporate world and get funding for other vital research.
And because of that,
And because of that, I was able to develop my network further and to have sponsorships from my company into having scholarships for new coaches.
and because of that,
And because of that, the next generation of coaches is being established, and now we've got a foundation which goes into the world of science and technology.
and because of that,
And because of that, and because of that, all of these people that have been coached are now having impact into their own respective fields.
and because of that,
And because of it, the people working for them are then enabled to have these aspirations and to learn from them and to have a supportive workplace. And because of that, there are more women working in science and technology than ever before.
Nice.
Access to funding.
and because of that,
There have been, because of the change in leadership style, there has been a change in attitude towards research and development, which is
and because of that,
because of that, there's been new avenues of thought explored, new developments, new possibilities, and more collaboration around the world for countries, companies, and foundations to work together to solve the world's problems.
okay, I'm going to stop it there. So, what did you notice in doing that?
I noticed that I kind of found it going off on a bit of a tangent and felt that I had to kind of carry on the story. But at the same time, I felt that it was very, the air of possibility was just limitless. You can really kind of say, right, and I'm going to change the world, or what I do is going to impact the world. Whereas it would sound very big-headed or perhaps fanciful to actually say that directly from something you're actually doing. But when you take such wild leaps, you do see the possibilities that actually it sounds crazy and out there, but is it really?
What surprised? Yeah, I would love to talk to you more about that, because this is like a find your why, it sounds like, exercise for you.
Yep.
Right? Like, what are you really up to here?
So
Like, sure, you're going to a job interview, but what's this really about? Like, it became, what I heard was something about women and leadership and changing a culture of women in leadership in the world.
Yeah, making an impact and actually shifting. It's not even about women per se, but it's more about the maybe it's the femininity or the, I don't know, just shifting leadership from patriarchy to being something more equal, something more problem solving and less about fighting. But I think the whole, the whole why thing and where is it going? We started a conversation with me, just before the call, talking to Jen about the whole corporate path, and then the whole conversation was about basically changing the world in a kind of philanthropical way. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, this is a kind of like push exploration into what the heck is in my brain. Like, and so, it's a 2-minute game, but who knows what the impact. So let's hear from Denise. We played this a week ago on a call. So talk to these fine women.
So I wanted to say that it's not just what's in your brain, but I feel like it's what's in your heart and what's in your soul. It's like you may not have thought that in your heart and your soul you wanted to have such a huge amount of impact, but then it reveals that. And then I also think the cool thing about it too is that it just makes you it can lead you to dreaming bigger than you ever, than you normally would, because we have so many naysayers and, what I call the inner critic that tells you to, keep things down and to control stuff and to limit it and everything because it's trying to keep you safe. But when you take that away and you're just playing, you get to this place of like all of the possibilities that actually exist for you when that inner critic is silent and when you just start to play and explore and envision and stuff. And it's like, wait a minute, this actually could become this thing so much bigger than me.
So what specifically happened for you?
Right. Sorry, I'm getting to that. I had to like lay the foundation. I do the promo. No, but I also wanted to say that like that's what I saw happening with kind of both Sarah and Jen. For me, what I really loved about the exercise is that more so than dreaming big, for me the effect really had to do with seeing how doing one small act had this amazing chain of causality that led to these bigger things that were the things that I really wanted. And for me, it was the like seeing how these things were connected and seeing that it wasn't like this kind of like, I would do this thing and it's totally separate from these other things that I want, but that all of the things that I really wanted and that I was wanting to bring into the world and that I wanted to make manifest could start from something that seemed completely unrelated, right? It's like, making more income can affect my ability to go to the gym, because if I'm not freaked out about money and how much money I'm making, then I feel like it's okay for me to go to the gym, and then I make time to do it, and then I'm doing that, and so then it balances that out, and then that causes this, and that causes that, and that causes that. And so for me, when Erica and I did this exercise last week, I didn't get as much to this big kind of grandiose, I'm going to change the world. It was more of a, I'm going to change my world. And by changing my world, then I'm more available to be able to change other people's worlds. And for me, it was like, it was so amazing to see, like I said, how things were connected and how they were interconnected, and how, I was talking to Erica, I think it was yesterday or today or something, about how the things that you say that you're going to do can be these small, simple tasks, but these small, simple tasks in aggregate can have this huge impact. Sending one email seems like, well, it doesn't matter if I send this one email, but you send this one email, you get an interview, or you get a new client, or you get a new gig where you're doing this workshop, and then doing this workshop can lead to all of these other things. And it just started with this one simple, a number of sentences and words on an email, and you pressed send. That in and of itself is not, but the impact that it has can be enormous.
Right. I think I remember you were talking about that, how like actually the actions are relatively simple in themselves.
Right.
Call someone, ask a question, ask for help, send an email, show up. Like any one of those things is really doable when you look at it. Would you be comfortable sharing any specific examples from the past week for you?
Sure. So
people love stories. We are the stories we tell ourselves, right? We just played story games, so
we
tell us
did
a story, Denise.
So the story, my personal piece of excitement for today is that
do the because of that. I want to hear.
Oh, the because of that.
Yeah. How did it start?
So how did it start? So I'm usually fairly decent at coming up with where the origin of a story, but basically I started working with Erica, and we kind of envisioned like this kind of realm of possibilities. As a matter of fact, Erica said, you have a solution to this problem. You're looking at it this one way, but there is this range of options that you may not be looking at. And I was like, okay, so because of that, I started thinking of a wider realm of solutions and feeling more positive about what I could potentially do. And because of that, and also who I was kind of in the grand scheme of all of it. And because of that, I started showing up and taking care of things that needed to be taken care of. Erica says, you're the woman who makes the phone call. And I was like, okay, so because of that, I made the phone call. And because of that, I found out kind of what my options were. And because of that, I asked to see if somebody could help me make this happen. Because of that, they said yes. And because of that, I have got a solution to a fairly large and significant problem that's been going on in my life for a while. And I got the first part of it sorted. And it was all because of expanding this realm. I keep saying this, and this is my thing right now, is expanding the realm of the possible. And seeing that there are more options available than what I initially believed when I was in a place of being scared and stuck and fearful.
Yay.
Yeah. Jen has got a thing to say.
Well, no, I'm just, so I have so much to say.
Good.
I took it and I wrote down some notes and I have some ideas and, but I have a question first for Erica. So listening to Denise telling her because of that, I'm curious, I don't know if it'd be worthwhile and I don't know if we'd want to do it, but could you do it about a negative? So someone said,
we're on the same page. I'm
okay.
And if you want to, let's do the dark side.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Do you want to do the dark side?
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
See how it plays out, right?
That's fantastic. Okay, Jen. So now, same scenario, same Jen, same reality. Okay, this time, this workshop. Now, Jen, you have kind of your own unique personal way to kind of screw things up, right? And that was just like full force, like whatever you do, that's your way to like sabotage your success, to like screw up, to like miss the boat, to miss the mark, to get caught up, whatever it is you do, you just did all of it, right? Who knows? I don't know how it happened, but it just all went down in your special way of disaster, right? And you're going to tell me now, and now it's been a couple days, and I'm going to ask you, and you're going to tell me just what you did, okay? You ready?
Yeah.
Jen, I haven't seen you since that workshop. How was it?
It was a disaster. I thought it was going to be great. It wasn't. We so weren't prepared. We didn't mesh well with those other people that we had to work with. People didn't really like it. We felt stifled, and the flow was off, and it was awful.
It was awful. Okay. All right. Okay. It was awful. People were stifled. You didn't have your flow. Okay. All right. Now, it's been 5 years. Last I heard, you were like, okay. So now it's been 5 years. All right, Jen. Oh my God, it's been 5 years. So last I heard, like you just totally screwed up that workshop and nobody liked it and it didn't resonate. What happened?
And I still do the dark side, right?
See, that's the thing, right? I'm going to have to specifically instruct you to do it. We're still exploring.
I will sit there and go, and then we knocked it out of the park. So, but let's say we didn't. Actually, I lost all my confidence.
And because of that?
And because of that, I decided I don't want to really work with that company anymore.
And because of that?
Well, then that we lost a big chunk of our business. And so right now we're not doing very many gigs.
Because of that?
I'm actually thinking I have to go find a regular job.
Because of that?
I'm very unhappy.
And because of that?
that I feel,
Hold on to it. This is a possible future.
Right.
Okay. And because you're really unhappy, and because of that?
That I feel that I'm a failure, that I couldn't make it work.
And because of that?
That my penance says I need to go work for somebody else.
And because of that?
I've lost all freedom in my life.
And because of that?
That would be the worst. I am at the end. That's my dark side. Because of that, I feel that I'm stifled. I have no creativity, and that I'm just going through the motions.
And because of that?
I'm sad.
Because of that?
Oh gosh. I'm thinking too much. I'm out of the improv part of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay. So what did you notice in that?
It's all the things I don't want, right? So what I think highlighted for me are some of my values and the things that are important to me in life. So obviously freedom's important. Working for myself is important. Doing a good job is important. And having confidence is important. And so all of those things together are things I typically have to some degree or another, or I can easily access. So it wasn't
freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Freedom came up really strongly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your value on freedom.
Yeah. And I think that's all tied into owning my own business and owning. I love having my own business, right? So, and if that was to go away, that would not feel very free. Even though I'm sometimes not free because of my business, I'm free to make my own decisions. I'm free to say yes. I'm free to add in things. I'm free to say no, that kind of thing.
Yeah. What about you? What about the rest of you guys? What did you notice in that one?
Go ahead. I'm Sarah. I didn't want to interrupt you.
I noticed that, it was more limiting. So whereas the and because and good thing, it got broader and broader, and nothing was impossible. Whereas it kept circling back to a few fundamental things. But there was no actual catastrophizing going. It wasn't, and because of that, all the children starved and we died. It wasn't. Unrealistic. It was all sort of grounded in some fairly practical stuff. Close the brain in a way.
Yeah, it really spiraled down and got very personal and just sort of stuck with. Actually, you ended with "I'm sad."
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Denise, or what do you want to say now?
I was going to say that the contrast was that it almost funneled down to just being about you, whereas the other one funneled up so that it was about expanding out to affecting a lot of people and making impact on a lot of lives. And the other thing was that I kept trying to send you a mental thing you hate getting up in the morning. Your life is a sham. I was like, I can help. I can totally help with this. I was like, I've got ideas of what it's like.
Oh, I see. And she's running out of ideas of what this feels like.
And I was like, no, I can totally tell you because that's where I felt 3 months ago. But that it really was. It just got kind of darker and darker and almost like blinds, just having blinds. There's nothing else but this kind of stuff that I don't want. This limited existence, limited and small existence.
I'm curious, Jen. obviously when I said it'd been 5 years, you're like, whatever, that workshop's way behind me and probably turned out to be something good, right? Because you had just sort of re-poofed up to like, who cares? But you said yes and you did it, right? And you started going into like, what is this dark side? Like, what happened with that, with the pull, with like when I first proposed it to you, you're like, I'm out of here, we're happy, like what happened when, I'm just curious about that, once you started engaging with that sort of that energy, how did you experience the part of yourself that might, pull you over to an alternative interpretation or a different perspective or the positivity?
Well, that was hard for me because I tend to skew positive and rebound and focus very much on, yeah, so what, it was one time, we'll nail it, we'll change it, we'll do something different. And I may have like a moment, but I don't sit in it. So it felt very uncomfortable for me to do that, which is interesting. But I also think sometimes my personality will skew positive to not experience negative, right? So sometimes be a little bit up because it's easier for me than sometimes if I am sad or if something is going on. So I kept wanting to get out of it. I do know that.
Did it get easier? Were there times where it got easier to go like step to step, or was it kind of constant? Like, was it a constant pull out, or?
That's a good question too. I think when I sort of felt like I was at where I thought it would be the worst, it was hard to go one step further, right? So the loss of freedom or working for somebody else, like that's there. And so then to say, and what else, is like, oh my God, there's more. Because
it can get worse than that.
I was like, no, but I can do this. I want my business back. So, yeah, so that was very interesting. I also like though what Denise noticed about self, right? So when I became at the effect of my bad performance, it was all about me, right? Which is interesting. On the what else, everything went great, it moved out to what are the experiences I have. So if we think about the themes, so Sarah's theme was a little bit about impacting the world and empowering others. Denise's theme was a little bit more about who am I as a person and how do I continue to step in that with each and what else. And my theme was about the experiences I would have, like meeting Oprah or having a show, or so that's just fascinating too, if you think about it that way. But the moment I went down, it was all about me and no longer about my experiences.
Right. It's like, well, there's no longer there's no permeability, there's no interaction with the rest of the world. It's like, it's just bad, and it's just, that's a great way to contain, to keep the story in that negativity, right? Is to shut out those, because that's what we're always getting, are these offers from the world that it's like, you could do something with this. So I asked you, I mean, you're like, you're a tough positivity cookie here,
Sorry.
So you're like all on all the time. But I wonder if just sort of somebody else doing it who wasn't as skew oriented as strongly that way, or as sort of reflect, like really that way. I just from thinking about my own experience of what you were saying, Denise, it's like once you're like on the couch and you're feeling like you suck, and then like you watch the movie, now you really suck. It seems like once you're in it, there's something about it's easier to kind of stay in that inward focus. And so I'm curious about, I wonder if there's a way to, I wonder if we could play this where you have people go down that way and then you instruct them now to form, do because of that and go out, right? To open.
So here's what I'm thinking. So what if it was, let's say somebody's having a hard time going to the gym.
Okay.
Right? So let's say that you don't go to the gym and you lay on the couch. And because of that, what happens? And because of that, what happens? And it would be interesting if it would be what they're struggling with saying yes to take it to the shadow side.
Okay. Does anyone have something like that they're struggling, that they want, like to go to the gym, but they're not doing? We could play it. Sarah. All right, Jen, you
Ladies,
want to lead it?
ladies, I hate to do this, but I have to, I have another call at 4.
Oh, yeah.
So I need to jump off, but it was absolutely lovely to get to hang out with you guys for an hour. So thank you for letting me come and play.
Thank you so much, Denise.
You're very, very welcome. And I will connect with you guys all another time.
Because of that, your
Because
life
of that. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
What do you guys, Jen and Sarah, do you want to do this? Or do you want to hop off? You know, we are at top.
Oh, I can stay. Doesn't matter.
Okay. How about Jen? Would you be interested in driving this with Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's see it.
So Sarah,
set it up.
Yeah. So Sarah, what's something that you're having a challenge taking action on?
Say starting to date again.
Say that again.
Date again.
Oh, to date again. Okay. And so it sounds like that it's something you want to do, but you're not actually taking any action to get out there and date with people. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say that you decide you're never going to take action on dating, and just play along with me and let's just see how it goes. So you never take action to dating, and because of that, what happens?
Because of, is this where I see? Because of that, I end up thinking, well, what is the point in waxing my legs?
Okay, and because of that?
And because of that, I think, well, what is the point in brushing my hair?
And because of that?
And because of that, I think, well, what's the point in ever, wearing anything?
And because of that?
Because of that, I'm gonna go in some big leaps now. And because of that, I start dressing like a tramp, not tramp as in a tramp as in a homeless person. Dressing like a tramp and just eating whatever I feel like eating and putting on 400 pounds.
And because of that?
Because of that, I give myself an excuse not to go out because no shops stock clothes big enough that I can fit into.
And because of that?
And because of that, I never meet anyone.
And because of that?
And because of that, I end up eating myself to death in a specially reinforced bed surrounded by cats that I'm allergic to, and having the firemen having to come and rescue me to take me into the hospital by creating a special big hole in the house and taking me out the frame.
So, and because of that, I want to know. And because of that?
Because of that, I end up having various amputations and terrible personal hygiene problems because I can't wash properly. And because of that, I lose all my friends as well.
Okay. So here's where I would sit there and think, then could you say, so one choice is to actually take action in dating, or the other choice is to get rescued by firemen through a hole in your roof to lift you out of bed. Which one feels worse? Like, I'm thinking, like, is that how you could maybe use this to do, like, what are you really risking?
Well, ask her. Let's see what she says.
Okay, so.
Yeah, I think the whole getting eaten by my Alsatians, as I've suffered a minor heart attack in the specially reinforced bed, is definitely worse than going out there. And,
okay. So knowing that you don't want any of that, what are you willing to do when it comes to dating?
Ooh, that's the hard part. I'm not sure.
Okay. So that would be interesting.
What would you do next then?
I would actually then find out I would find out what's the real concern with dating, right? So what are you afraid is going to happen if you do date? So that's probably, I would move out of the improv
Mhm.
and go into what's being stuck. So we know that you would rather date than have the because of that scenario, but there's still something in the way. It's not enough to have you say, oh my God, I got to start dating right now. So that's what I would probably shift with.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Mm.
Yeah. So I didn't know if it, anyway, go ahead, Erica, back to you.
Well, what do you think, Sarah? What surprised you? What did you learn by playing that out?
I think I equated things that I wouldn't do in a logical fashion with the initial issue. So, for example, the not wanting to date suddenly became about having major health issues and all about people not liking me because of how I looked and how me not taking care of myself was the kind of end result of me not having a boyfriend, which is a bit of a leap, let's be honest.
So the not dating became related. You related that to you not taking care of yourself. Many different ways of you not taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
And if you were to make up a meaning about that, like what do you think that? How do you interpret that?
I think in a way it's kind of whether it's the putting on 400 pounds or putting on, you know, a dirty tracksuit. It's a way of can you hear me?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. I think it might be a way of almost making it so that, you know, it wasn't even anymore. It kind of froze, didn't it?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
You back? Erica, are you back?
My computer is doing little spirals.
Now I can hear you both.
Okay.
I think it became a way of kind of almost avoiding the dating by either coming up with oh well, I can't go out because I haven't showered in 4 days, or I haven't, you know, very sort of little reasons became huge reasons, like £600 reasons for not being able to. But it was almost creating obstacles that to stop it even becoming a possibility. So I think there's a lot going on. I'm kind of coming up with reasons not to act.
Oh, it's so interesting to hear like what you are hearing in that, and then like what I'm hearing in that, you know, totally different
What are you
places.
hearing?
Oh, I asked you a very leading question, right? Like I'm hearing that there's some relationship to showing up for yourself and your relationship with yourself, and that's, I mean, maybe it's just my bias, right? That's core, right? To showing up and seeing yourself as someone, you know, worthy is not a great word, but worthy of dating, of friends, you know. So it's like this really, I'm seeing it through this lens of relationship to yourself. How are you showing up for yourself? How are you taking care of yourself? How you know, and then that being related to how you perceive the world is interacting with you.
Interesting.
Mm. Any other variations you guys want to try?
What happens if it becomes so that the person, I mean, let's say it's a situation where Jen's given her workshop, or I've done my interview, and it's been like, okay, so that sucked. It did not go according to plan. And what happens if the person starts to buy in to the bad scenario?
What happens if what? I couldn't hear what you said.
For example, if Jen's had her workshop, or I've done my interview, or whatever it might be, and you say, oh, how did it go? And it's kind of, oh, well, that really sucked. That just, you know, it was absolutely rubbish. We couldn't have done it any worse. And then what if it kind of, you know, so for example, Jen, from what I can tell, is very much looking at the positive that would come from it. I'm kind of probably a little bit, well, it could be this way, it could be that way, let's see, keep an open mind and go and try it. But what if it sort of opens up the kind of negative feeling? Is that possible? Where it's kind of, oh, well, it could go really badly wrong. And then what happens if I lose the rest of the confidence? What happens if I never have the confidence to do another interview? What would you do if it started going down that way?
I am having trouble hearing that whole question.
So basically, I got it. So
Okay.
so basically, if something doesn't go well, like so my workshop didn't go well, or the interview didn't go well, how do you prevent somebody from staying in the negativity? Is sort of what I'm hearing is the question, right?
Yep. Yes. Well, remember that first thing we did of yes and? So that core principle of like, yes, the workshop totally bombed. Oh my God, it bombed like spectacularly. You wouldn't believe it. Let me tell you how much this bombed. And I'm going to use this as an example when I go and I teach other trainers about how to not do things, because if they hear about this, they're never going to be worried because I have screwed this up so much. It's going to reassure those people that I have screwed things up way more than they're going to screw it up. Whatever. It's the yes and, like fully accept, and how do we work with that? Right? So that goes back to that core thing of like practicing that skill, practicing, like if we did a picnic, I have another game where people just keep lobbing supposedly unfortunate things at you. And then you're just like, yes. And you like tell the story how that turned out to be the greatest thing ever. Right? So the more you practice that, the more your brain is like, I mean, I swear my brain is like, I can work with this. Okay. You know, oh, that's like, I left my car, you know, I left my phone in my car 20 miles away. Okay. And the opportunity is, you know, like it's really a skill of that we train our brains. That's my opinion. Anne actually wants to try this thing that Anne here, who's just a name on our screen and is here. She says, I'm curious, have you reverse engineered the downward spiral? In other words, someone going to the dark side and then shifting to move up to the lighter side. To what extent could that help someone expand and see options they otherwise could not? So that's what we brought up before, right? Could we traffic cop this? If people are familiar with, okay, because of that, I don't know if it's negative, but somehow it's invoking that. And then we say, okay, switch. Because of that, it's actually whatever you just said was the best thing that could have possibly happened. And then go up. So we could try it. Want to have that be our last hurrah? Hurrah, hurrah. Now, Jen, I know you're already really good at this. And I obviously can make stuff up all the time. How about you, Anne? Do you have any interest in coming on? You could just do audio. You don't have to do video. Would you like to be the guest for the switching spiral?
I think I can unmute her.
Right, but I don't know if she wants to be unmuted.
We're going to have to wait to see the official word in chat.
So, Anne, I have unmuted you. Would you like to speak? We have a bad storm here, and I have things blanking out. I don't know what that means.
Probably electrical goofiness.
A tech problem. Okay. Well, what should we do? What do you think, Jen? Who wants to be a guinea pig? So something this would be choosing something that maybe is a bit more on the edge. Maybe choose something that, you know, you really are having a trouble. I'm guessing, right? This might be applicable. Something that you are really having trouble seeing the positive side to.
That's a tough one. But I'm a little Pollyanna that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So let's do the President of the United States. Is that too political for this?
I'm not very good.
She's like, not my country. Not my circus, not my monkeys.
Okay, so let's try it with
Okay.
and I am not super versed on all the specifics, but I have some opinions. So
Okay. Yes. How about I'll do it with you, and so how will you be doing this? Will you just be saying like this is real, this is what's happened? Will you be making it personal to you?
I'll be doing I guess I'm doing my worst case scenario drill down.
Yeah.
My concerns about the country.
Yeah, I think that'll be important to keep this related to you, not just like these things happened and then the country went to hell, but something like,
Right.
The impact on you.
Okay.
Keep open to that. Keep that thread in there. Like, and shall we start? Let's see. Where should we place this in time? Well, do you have something negative to say that you're feeling right now?
Well, I'll do it the day after election.
Well, I thought about that, and I'm wondering if it might, like, let's keep it in the present, right? Okay. Because we're not storytelling the past. We're kind of seeing where is this edge you're on right now. Okay. So that wherever you are right now with it, okay. And let's say, something that you can say this will be that you tune into and it has got you down or it's got you worried or it's like, it's got an edge to you. Okay. And so for like 30 or 40 seconds, you'll keep going with curiosity, like really engaging with that energy, see where that goes.
Okay.
All right. And then we'll pivot it and see. I wonder if we could combine this. Remember how we did the yes and then we did yes and what I like about that? Mm-hmm. Like kind of with that energy of, and because of that, being connected to that.
Okay. But
to keep the sense of it instead of it just being a pile on.
Right. So, and it would need to be, and because of that, what I don't like about that is, and then the pivot would be what I like.
Right. Well, it could still be in because of that. I'm just saying like.
Okay. Oh, you went away. There.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's changing. I'm getting all these screens and it's saying, now we're using this microphone. Oh, now we've changed our mind.
Okay, now we can hear you.
Yeah, you're back. Oh.
Now we can. There. Okay. No, we could hear you. We could hear you at the end of the other.
Oh, how about now?
Yeah, you sound like you're an air traffic controller. Yes.
I just look like it or I also sound like it?
No, you sound better now.
Okay. All right, I'm going to turn you guys up. Yeah, I'm prompting you to like tune in to that personal energy.
Okay.
Of sincerity with it.
Yeah.
And let's see with you in that sort of curious about what that thread is really like. And then with the same energy, we'll turn that thread around and see where it goes. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, Jen, there's something on your mind, like, let's see. I guess this is like, how long has it been since I've seen you?
Yeah. I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I haven't seen you in a while. And last I heard you were feeling kind of down about something with the president. Like, what's up?
Yeah. So what I've noticed is that I feel like every time I go on Facebook, I see a real division of people and what they believe in and what they stand for.
And because of that?
I feel like the country is splitting, and even what I gravitate towards or what I look at is changing and is changing.
And because of that?
I've unfriended some people because of the things that they say feel so shocking.
Yeah. And because of that?
I feel less connected to people than I probably did before. So yeah,
And because of that?
I'm trying not to tell too much.
Yeah.
And because of that, I would say that it feels as if I'm going to go back out to the country, is that such a big divide. Even if many people agree, their harshness about it just feels heavy.
And because of that?
I feel that the world, my personal world has lost a lot of lightness. And it feels there's a lot more uncertainty and less connection over good, where I feel like there's more connection over what's wrong.
Okay.
That's interesting.
So you're feeling like there's less connection around what's good, and some of the light in your own world has gone, and there's more connection around what's bad.
Yes.
So now you're going to turn that. And I guess, the coaching question would be like, and the opportunity in that is. So now tuning into that as a yes, the light is gone. There's more connection around bad. That is what is going on. Yep, that's what's going on. Yes.
Yes.
And because of that.
And because of that, things could change.
And because of that.
There could be, and because of that, that actually people could come together around positivity at some point.
Oh, I have a new idea. I'm going to pause.
Okay.
Let's say that you got to that point, right? That's
Yep.
where you left off. Like there's this loss of light in your world. You're noticing more connection around negativity and less connection around positivity. That's where you are.
Yes.
Now I haven't seen you in a year. And you really took that in. That is what was really, that's the yes. That is really what Jen Barley witnessed. Yeah. And then you took action from that place in this direction of positivity.
That's good.
All right. And now I haven't seen you in a while. And I'm like, okay, Jen, wow. The last time I saw you, you're really down. You're really noticing that shift in like your own community and people connecting in the world more around negativity. Yeah. What happened for you?
Well, I decided that connection is the right kind of connection is even more important to me.
And because of that?
That I let go of what I couldn't control and changed what I could.
And because of that?
I actually created closer connections through the mindset of we're more alike than different.
And because of that?
I think because of that, I was able to draw more meaningful connections that was a bit more balanced than just always positive or what's going well or like-minded.
And because of that?
I see the world a little bit differently, I think in a way, and because of that, in a way that feels a little bit more grounded into why we value connection.
And because of that?
Probably I created a program around it and I'm teaching it to other people.
Okay, we'll just go off at the normal track from there on. Oprah, the whole world, everything. Okay, so so what do you notice in that?
But it totally works, right? But the key thing is you got to keep it to reality of what is it that's happening, and then what's the opportunity and what's happening. And it's interesting because it's not necessarily, I didn't even mention the president, which I think is funny. But that's where I notice a lot of people's energy, and rightfully so, about that. And it also came down then that one of the shifts is, what is a foundation that I know is true that can change? I can't control everything. That was it. I can't control everything, so what can I control? That would be the same opportunity, if that makes sense. So what comes out in all of that is my belief system. So what part of my belief system works and what part of my belief system doesn't work? And I even came up with my own answer. My own answer is, when can I sometimes get on a bandwagon around negativity? Because I can, even though I like to be positive, I can be extremely negative and frustrated and people annoy me. So how do I connect through similarities as opposed to differences, if that makes sense?
Yeah. What I noticed is you got way more grounded
Mm-hmm.
in this. You got way more grounded and personal, and you found this opportunity you really found the opportunity instead of like, oh, my life used to be fun, and we had all this fun in Facebook and it was great. And you created this future that had much more richness and depth and wisdom. So there was the loss of that sort of fun, but there was a real discernment around what's really important and what does connecting really mean. And
Yeah.
you really found a richness that came out of that loss of the fun.
Right. So good job, Anne. Great suggestion.
Yeah. And that worked. That was cool. That was cool. I've never done it that way. That was a cool way to do it, that we started in the present with what's getting you down now.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did the jump
Mm-hmm.
to like, what would it look like? You've turned it around. So what it's kind of a sneaky way to get at how you did it. Because if I just asked you, how did you turn that around? You'd be like, But
Yeah.
it felt like it got at a very real way that you transformed that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that's what I think. What do you think?
Me?
Yeah. Or either.
Oh, no, I think I agree with that. I think your recap of it is right on. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was good.
I noticed
Cool.
that it went from a situation that you felt perhaps that you couldn't control into creating different ways of managing the situation and managing how you react to it, and actually being able to control it again.
Yeah. Yeah, the power came back when it went to the, what can you do and what will that change? So because of that, and because of that, so you turned it around. You didn't even have to tell me how, but it got turned around. How do you build? So yeah, I think that's a good shifter. That's cool.
It is cool because I love this thing where you just tell your brain, like, well, she shifted it all. And your brain's like, and like, it came up with I love that, how it came up with a really sincere way. It's like you kind of sunk into your values and something came out that felt really real and really possible. Like when you were saying, like, my heart, I could feel it in my heart. I was like, I can really feel that shift happening.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
cool.
love that. I love this stuff. I love this thing of how it kind of frames it so you surprise yourself.
Yeah.
At least it surprised me. All right. Well, Anne says, you two did a great job, brought the depth of the reflection to life.
Good.
Sunk into her values. Yes, I felt that depth. Cool. Okay, well, you guys who were on the call, like thinking back about all these different games we played, like what are your takeaways from this whole experience?
I really liked the improv. I really like the way that it just broadened the possibilities. And I like the way that it just, especially when you're feeling quite stuck with something, it's a kind of fun way of exploring without it too much. So what are you going to do next? Or, you know, it's a way of uncovering the thing behind the thing in a very sort of fun, safe space. I liked it a lot.
Cool. Yeah, I guess my question would also be like, how might you apply this? Like, these are really simple little games, right? Simple instructions, takes 2 minutes, stuff happens. So I'm curious any ideas you might have of what you could use this with.
Like you say, if somebody's got something coming up that perhaps could go either way, or that they're nervous about, or you know, and they want to explore that, it's a good way of doing that. Also, if somebody feels really stuck with something, or, you know, feels that a situation's hopeless, and actually reframing it and moving it into something more positive, like with the presidential situation. We've got the same situation politically in the UK. Very much, you know, it's like two sides fighting, and everybody's more, you know, it's more about them being right than actually seeking out similarities. So
it's more about them what? Did you hear that, Jen?
Being right.
Being
Yeah.
right and having their view, then, you know, because the views are kind of very opposite, so it's very much I'm right, you're wrong, rather than, well, where do we have common ground? So I think society, it's very divided at the moment, and a lot of people, even amongst families, because I think, well, especially, we won't go into it too much, but even here, so the members of my family all voted different ways, for example. So it's much less about where you live, and, you know, but it's very, very divisive. So actually reframing something like that into, well, what can I actually do to protect myself, to create a positive impact around me, to have some control and optimism around a situation. Oh, it's very powerful.
Well, so even witnessing it. What about you, Jen? What stands out to you, and what do you see the applications?
So I see the applications in the workshop next week. I got an idea of an exercise that we could do, right? So it could be I wrote down the because of that, right? So building on the energy. I'm going to try to ground it a little bit more in reality for them. Like, so given your life, then what? And then what? In this environment, in this culture, in this organization kind of thing. So I think that will be great. I think also with the divisiveness that we talked about at the end, the yes and concept is brilliant for that, right? Because if somebody says something that I don't agree with, it's truth for them. So yes. And here's another possibility where normally we say, yes, but, and then we give our opinion. So even just in general conversations for opposite sides of the fence, the yes and is a great way to go.
Yeah, you can do that exercise. Remember how we did yes and we did also yes and what I like about that? Before that, as a first exercise, you can do yes, but. And have them do like a minute of yes, but. Even before that, if you really want to, you can say no, and then have them make up some rational, reasonable reason. So you can do a series of no's, a series of yes, but, and it's amazing. They'll never get to the beach. And then yes, and they'll end up on Mars. And then yes, and what I like about that, and they'll end up like, I mean, not always, right? But you'll get that sort of, you know, that's a whole sort of sequence that can be good. I forgot to mention, I want to share with you where that because of that came from. Let's see if this works. Of course, I can't understand my husband's computer. Oh, there we go. Can you see that?
Yes.
You see my screen?
Yep.
It says Story Spine. So this came from, there's this, often people call this the Pixar story spine, like Pixar stories. It didn't originate with them, and it seems to be, who knows where it's originated, but this is like when you think of a classic story like Nemo, right? Once upon a time, there was a fish named Nemo that, you know, him and his dad lived in the ocean, and every day they went to the school at the edge of the cliff. And then one day, a fisherman, you know, scooped him up in his net. And because of that, he got taken across the ocean. Because of that, he ended up in an aquarium. Because of that, he almost got eaten by gulls. And because of that, his father set out on a mission across the ocean. Because of that, like he rode a sea turtle or whatever. I don't really know exactly what happened with Nemo, but until finally he found, you know, his dad. And then ever since that day, you know, they stick close together and know the meaning of like their relationship or whatever the moral of the story is with Nemo. So that's where that because of that came from, that here you are in the midst of your story, right? And you're doing the same thing. And then one day you take an action and then we see what happens because of that.
Love it.
So that's where that came from.
Nice.
Yeah. And I don't know how to get you guys back. Oh, come back. Stop share. There we go. Okay. So.
Cool.
All right. Well, are you guys okay if I repost this video if anyone wants to watch it on Facebook? Is there anything come up? Okay, great. I don't know what it'll look like, but I'll see if I can do that for.
Great.
Too bad we can get the next time we'll get the tech figured out. And thanks for showing up.
Yep. Thank you, Erica.
It's fun. Let us know how the workshop goes.
Oh, I will. And
That'd be
thank
fun.
you, Sarah. Finally, great to see you.
Yeah. And nice to meet you, Anne. She says thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.